Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and with 2015 coming to an end, as a gamer, I can honestly say that 2015 really wasn't a bad year for gaming, at least for me, but I can't really say it was very memorable. I mean, sure, there were a lot of games I played this year. You had your good games with something like Batman Arkham Knight, and some fun games with Mortal Kombat 10, and then you had just some seriously disappointing games like Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. But looking forward to 2016, I can certainly tell that just from this lineup here that I have put together, from these top 10 games that I'm most looking forward to 2016, it's going to be a far more interesting year in 2016 than it was in 2015. So, starting off with number 10, which I would like to start off by saying that this list is just made up of games that, from what I've looked forward to in terms of the release schedule, these games should be coming out in the next year. Some of them might get pushed back, and if there is a guaranteed release date, I will add it to the number name of the game itself. So, starting off with number 10, we have Attack on Titan. Apparently it's going to have some type of subtitle. We don't know what it is yet, but all I know is that this game may be coming out this time this year. I know for a fact that it is coming out in Japan, so we might get a name at that time. But I'm a big Attack on Titan fan, as some of you know. And I'm still waiting for the second season of the anime. I've pretty much read all the manga, and with the travesty of those two really terrible Attack on Titan live-action movies, we need something Attack on Titan that works. And from what I've seen from this gameplay, it looks like this is going to capture the feeling of Attack on Titan. It looks like it's actually going to get the 3D gear right in terms of its gameplay mechanics and its combat style. We're going to get to play as a lot of our favorite characters from the show, like Eren, Mikasa, and Levi, hopefully. And hopefully it can at least get some people who haven't really been interested in Attack on Titan to at least get on board. Because I'm sure the second season of the anime hopefully is coming soon. I mean, it feels like it's been like 2 or 3 years since the first season ended. And I think we really need this to get us back into the mood of being excited to see Attack on Titan. And I think that this game can certainly do it. That's why it's number 10 on my list. Going on into number 9 is a game which I don't know why Square is doing this. I mean, maybe they just want to get us hyped up for the next game in the next main game in the franchise. But that is Kingdom Hearts 2.8, the final chapter prologue, which is a ridiculous name because I don't understand how it's 2.8. It's just kind of weird. Now, as far as I know, I'm excited to see this because this will give me an opportunity to play a lot of the few Kingdom Hearts games that I haven't had a chance to play. Now, I do happen to own the other two HD releases that they did for PlayStation 3, and this one coming for PlayStation 4, I find that a little bit odd. But, you know, as Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming closer to us, I think, you know, for those of us who haven't played the rest of the installments, this would be a good way to pass the time while we wait for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out. So, you know, these games have been out for a while, so now they're being released on consoles. It'll just be open to a much wider audience, and hopefully it'll give us more excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, which, you know, if they do release this, it's got to come with some type of Kingdom Hearts 3 demo or something. Maybe a small section of the game. I'm sure there are plenty of levels in Kingdom Hearts 3 that are fully done and are ready to go. Give us a demo. Give us some hands-on experience with this thing. And I hope that Kingdom Hearts 2.8, the final chapter prologue, can at least achieve that feat, which isn't very high, but at least, you know, it'll get me back into the mood of getting used to Kingdom Hearts again. That's why it's number 9 on my list. Going on is number 8, I picked Tom Clancy's The Division. Now, I was really excited to see this, especially when they first revealed this at E3, because it certainly looks like the best type of squad-based, third-person, cover-based shooter that I'm usually interested in. It reminds me a lot of Spec Ops The Line. I absolutely like the setting, how it's kind of during the wintertime, during a depleted version of New York City, and pretty much you're basically part of this team of, I guess, special soldiers, and you gotta find your way to survive. Out of all the games on my list for the most anticipated games of 2016, this is certainly the one game I really want to play with some of you guys out there. It definitely looks like the best team-based game, and I absolutely like playing on co-op. I'm not a big multiplayer fan myself, but co-op is really my second home in terms of the type of gaming I enjoy playing, and I believe that Tom Clancy's The Division will be able to capture that experience quite well, and that's why it's number 8 on my list. Going into number 7 is a game that a lot of us thought was canceled, and then they brought it back, and they're putting it for this current system. You know, I'm excited for it because of this studio's last 2 projects that they did, which I absolutely loved and were beautiful, and I would even go so far as to call them art, but that is The Last Guardian. We all know the infamous story about The Last Guardian. We all thought it was dead, and now it's officially coming back. It may be coming out in 2016, coming from the studio that got us Shadow of the Colossus and Ico. I'm hoping that this will simply give us a different type of game than we're used to. I absolutely love the art design that this game is presenting, and I hope that it keeps the same story style that we've had from Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, as in there's really not a lot of dialogue, in that the events of the game will tell the story. And I think that this game will certainly achieve that, and that's certainly something you can only really get on the PlayStation, which knows why I'm proud that I've been with PlayStation all these years, and why I will continue to stay with the system going into the future. And that's why it's number 7 on my list. Going on into number 6 is another PlayStation 4 exclusive, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn. This certainly looks very, very interesting. This looks like it could be the beginning of a new franchise for the PlayStation library. I absolutely love the design of this game, how it kind of takes place during kind of an old style, like Native American mix with robots. It's just something about the visuals of this game that makes it stand apart. I absolutely am interested to know more about our protagonist. She seems like she's going to be part of a really interesting journey. And hopefully if this game does well, which I absolutely believe it will, this will continue the lineup of really great PlayStation exclusives, since, and this is just in my opinion, PlayStation has always had the best exclusives, and even more so than Nintendo, even though I will acknowledge that I still love Nintendo, even though I haven't really been interested in playing a lot of their games as of late. And that's why it's number 6 on my list. Going on into number 5, I picked Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Now, I absolutely love playing Deus Ex Human Revolution. I thought it was really one of the best, I like to say, open world option games, because it gave you the option to approach situations, whether if you want to go run and gun, or if you want to take the quiet way and try to sneak your way through. So it had a very kind of semi-Metal Gear Solid feeling to it, and in some cases I would say the stealth element was actually done better in Deus Ex than most Metal Gear Solid games. And I really hope they can continue with that. I mean, giving us the options to pick the story choices that we want so we can see the story develop the way we've decided is really one of the best story elements that I can experience in most games, where you have options and that there's a massive set of replayability because you can see all the different paths that it can go. My only concern is, how is this game going to continue off from Human Revolution? Because I'm sure all of us got different endings, because I believe there's like only 3 endings you can get. How is this story going to connect to that game? Because that's really my only concern. In terms of the gameplay and the visuals, I think it's going to be just as good, if not better, since we're working on a much more powerful system than the PlayStation 3 was. And all I can do is expect another great experience from this amazing franchise. And that's why it's number 5 on my list. Going on into number 4 is a game that technically is already out. If I had my Xbox, I might have played it, but I decided not to, because I prefer to play this game on the system that I feel comfortable playing it on, and that is Rise of the Tomb Raider. I have absolutely heard nothing but good things from this game. I'm psyched to play this game when it finally releases next year, and this is actually one of the few games where I've gone to extreme lengths not to spoil myself, which for someone like me, when it comes to certain games I'm really anticipated for, that's something really hard to do. I mean, I have not watched any reviews, I've not talked to anyone about it, and I haven't even wanted to tempt myself to watching the cutscenes of the game, which, you know, I've done that for a number of games that I didn't play immediately. But if they can continue the story and the journey of Lara Croft, then this certainly will be another great action platformer game that continues why I jumped on to being a Tomb Raider fan to begin with, because it really wasn't until Square Enix brought it back, or kind of revitalized it, that I became a Tomb Raider fan. That was something that the older games just couldn't do for me, and I just hope it can continue with this game, and that's why it's number 4 on my list. Going on into number 3 is something that we haven't heard too much about in terms of gameplay and things we would like to have heard by this point. But hopefully we'll get more information on this game as we get closer to its possible release in the winter time of next year, and that is Mass Effect Andromeda. We don't know much about this. All we know is it takes place after the events of Mass Effect 3. We are not going to be playing as Shepard. We might see some familiar characters from the franchise that we've seen up to this point, but from all we know, it's going to be an entirely new adventure. It's going to obviously have some new gameplay elements. It's going to have some new story elements, and hopefully it just can keep the same Mass Effect feeling of exploration, adventure, getting to know our characters, personal relationships. As long as it can keep that feeling, I could care less what you do with the characters, as long as they're interesting and it makes me want to get to know them and understand their characters more, which will make the journey of the game that much more exciting to me. And that's why it's number 3 on my list. Going on into number 2, I picked Uncharted for a Thief's End. Now, look, I've had a mixed history with Naughty Dog, as some of you guys know. I was very disappointed with Uncharted 3, and I still think that The Last of Us is the most overrated game in the history of gaming. But if this really is going to be the last Uncharted game that they will be making, and hopefully it will be the end of the franchise, which I hope it will, then I just hope that this franchise ends up on a very satisfying note. I mean, some people think Nathan Drake's going to die, some people don't. I absolutely love the visuals. I mean, these are the best visuals that we have seen for a game to date, and it's just crazy how we say this every single year, and they just keep pushing the bar of showing just how powerful this system is. Drake looks like he's going to go on his most intense journey that we have ever seen him in. He's definitely not in his prime anymore. And so seeing his journey of having to come out of retirement, having to reconnect with apparently his blood brother, and having to go on this final adventure, and the question of what is he going to be willing to give up is a question I'm really interested in seeing where it goes. So although I was disappointed with Uncharted 3, I did get a chance to play Uncharted: The Golden Abyss on the PSP. I really enjoyed that game. Why they didn't release for PlayStation 4, I don't know. But I'm really curious to see how this franchise is going to end. I'm into any franchise that I've had a good number of experiences with over the course of my time with PlayStation, and that certainly is the Uncharted franchise. And I just hope it ends up on a very satisfying note. And I have no question it's going to be Game of the Year contender, in my opinion. That's why it's number 2 on my list. Now going into number 1. The most anticipated game that I'm looking forward to 2016 is a game that many of us that have been with Square have been looking forward to playing for a very, very, very long time. Now, after the absolute disaster of the 13 trilogy, and after the complete abomination that was Final Fantasy Type 0, Type 0 didn't give us one thing that most of us bought the game for. We didn't even buy it for Type 0. We bought it for something else. And that was the demo for Final Fantasy 15, and all I can say is this game has the potential of being the best Final Fantasy game I will ever play. And you guys know how I feel about Final Fantasy 7 and 10. Those two are like my contenders. They're constantly battling back and forth after which one takes that position. But I have the demo. I've been playing the demo ever since, and I still cannot get enough of it. And just from what we've seen from recent trailers, in terms of the paths and story decisions that they're making, this really can be one of the most innovative Final Fantasy games we've played to date. And this is going to be a good setup getting us ready for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, from what I've seen, that Final Fantasy Remake has actually taken a lot of inspiration from this game. So, I mean, that's really why I've put it as number 1 on my list. I mean, we've been waiting for this game for so long. It was supposed to come out on the PlayStation 3. It's going to come out for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It feels like it's been like 10 years since we first saw this. At least for me, it feels like that. And I just cannot wait to get my hands on this game, since this will certainly probably be the last Final Fantasy game I play in terms of its nomadic order. And all I can do is hope that it ends my Final Fantasy experience on a very positive note and something that I can recommend to everyone. And that is why it is number 1 on my top 10 most anticipated games for 2016. And with my list done and out of the way, what are the most exciting games that you guys are looking forward to playing in 2016? Share your list with me in the comments down below, and if you like this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check me my future videos. And like always, thank you guys for watching, you're awesome, and I'll see you next time.